Welcome to NYNJPA Weather, your weather source for the Northern Mid-Atlantic. I'm meteorologist Stephen DiMartino, and boy do we have a lot to talk about for today, so let's get right to it. This morning we have a disturbance that is approaching the Northern Mid-Atlantic. Now the majority of this snow with this disturbance will remain over the Southern Mid-Atlantic, like Virginia, Maryland, and Delaware. However, portions of southern New Jersey and southern Pennsylvania will see some light snow out of this disturbance. What's interesting to watch with this disturbance is that the previous model guidance about 3 days ago had this disturbance nowhere near New Jersey and Pennsylvania, something to keep an eye on for Sunday. Overall though, let's take a look at the snowfall map. Basically what I'm expecting is about 2 to 4 inches over southern New Jersey, specifically Cape May and southeastern Atlantic County. In these locations, I think some ocean enhancement will allow some snowfall to reach up to 3 or 4 inches in some locations. For most of southern New Jersey and locations south of Philadelphia in Pennsylvania, I'm expecting anywhere from 1 to 2 inches of light snow, generally in the afternoon and evening hours, so rush hour should be fun. North of those locations, basically north of Philadelphia, a trace to 2 inches, and Philadelphia as well. For central New Jersey, a little bit more snowfall is possible because of, again some ocean enhancement, especially over eastern Monmouth and eastern Ocean counties, but generally anywhere from a trace to 2 inches. More potential for up to 2 inches along the coast again. And then north of there, basically the New York City metropolitan area and northeastern Pennsylvania, expect really no impact whatsoever, maybe a few scattered snow showers, but that's about it. Also, along southern Long Island, there could be a little bit of an enhancement off the Atlantic Ocean, producing a trace to 2 inches as well. But again, this is not a significant impact event. But something else is on the way for Sunday. Or is it? Well, let's take a look at the latest data. The models continue to have a significant problem with the setup for Sunday. Now, a lot of the models are east, except for the European model, which had been east and now is closer to the coast. So let's forget about all the models here and look at what's actually happening to the weather pattern. One, we have our storm that's over the Tennessee River Valley that will move off the coast this evening, producing light snow, so that's one. Number two, we have a disturbance over the southwest, which has been poorly forecasted for the most part for most of the models, that is going to move into the southern plains over the next 24 to 48 hours. And we have another disturbance that is over northwest Canada that will dive into the northern plains as well. And of course we have our powerful ocean storm over the Gulf of Alaska that will drop south, and that is what we call the gatekeeper for this upcoming pattern. Let's take a look at the water vapor satellite picture. This morning we finally have some of the players on the field. This is why I've been saying that I'm waiting for the 12Z model guidance for today to really get a good handle on this potential storm, because now there is no doubt that there is a disturbance over the southwest, that the polar vortex is starting to split over parts of Quebec and Ontario, and we have a strong disturbance moving off the mid-Atlantic coast. And oh, by the way, we have a wild card moving through the northwestern Canada, which I'll talk about in a minute. So disturbance 1 and disturbance 2 looks like they will phase. The question is when and how far off the coast. Today's disturbance will move to the east-northeast, and actually is going to move far enough north, further north than what was expected originally, to produce some light snow as far north as central New Jersey, as we discussed previously. The reason why is because this polar vortex is shifting towards the Great Lakes. So as a result, this disturbance is able to move further north. That's an important indication to this upcoming pattern, because now we have the potential for a phase to develop closer to the coast. That doesn't necessarily means it's going to happen. The key factor here is what's going on in the Pacific this morning. And this again is our gatekeeper, which I have circled in light blue. Now, first of all, I just want to point out that we have an unusually strong subtropical jet stream for a moderate La Nina, and that's pretty interesting considering what was expected for this winter by many other sources. But there's no surprise with an east-based La Nina, and one that is weakening, by the way. Now, with this subtropical jet stream, it means that we're getting all these rogue disturbances shooting through the southwest, and that's what's causing all the model error for the most part. But we also have, typical for La Nina, a strong upper level low that's over the Gulf of Alaska. Now, how does upper level low dive south is going to be extremely important, and why the model guidance is having such a difficult time. Because the model guidance does not have very good data collection in this area. So what we're going to have to watch for is, how does this upper low dive south? I have blue and green here to show the difference in the jet stream. If the upper level low dives to the south and stays off the west coast, notice we get more of a ridge amplification over the Rockies, which means a deeper trough over the east, which means a storm that is able to cut off, intensify, and is closer to the coast. However, if the upper level low drifts more towards Oregon and Washington, well, you can see the result. The pattern is flatter. The ridge is nowhere near as amplified, and as a result, you get a solution that's further out into the ocean. Yes, the storm phases. Yes, it becomes strong. But by the time it does all that, well, it's well out in the Atlantic, and the only thing that New York City and Philadelphia sees is maybe a few flurries, if that. So what do I think is going to happen? I don't know. I'm going to be honest about it. We don't know yet exactly how this upper level low is going to dive south. That's why we're waiting for the 12Z model guidance this morning. And by the way, we have a wild card here that's over the Pacific, that's over the northwest of Canada. Now, northwestern Canada, again, doesn't have the greatest in model guidance dissemination as far as data. And this wild card, well, models even last night were handling it in different ways as far as the impact on this upper level low. So that disturbance is really a wild card as far as how this pattern develops. So as you can see, this storm is no slam dunk. What do I expect right now? Right now, I think that the interior is pretty much out of the woods as far as the impacts of this storm. This is a type of storm, a Miller B type storm, that usually Virginia and North Carolina has, and Delaware, has the best potential for moderate to heavy snow, and then cities usually do not, the big cities of New York City and Philadelphia. But this storm is so close that a shift of 50 miles could bring anywhere from no impact whatsoever from New York City and Philadelphia to a 6-inch plus snowfall. So I would not jump to any conclusions just yet. We're going to have to see how this pattern works out and see how everything plays out over the next 24 hours. But surely it's going to be interesting. I expect some changes in the forecast as we move forward. So for now, for the forecast for Sunday, I like the idea of the best potential for accumulating snowfall, don't know how much, along the immediate coast, and really not much of anything over the interior. Thank you for visiting NYNJPA Weather. I'm meteorologist Stephen DiMartino. Have an excellent day.